Namaskaram. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Sadashiva Shamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sakhana Vavadu Sakhana Punattu Sakaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvina Vadidamastu Mavit Vishavakai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Sargasthiti Pralayakedum Achintya Shaktim Vishveshwaram Vidida Vishwam Anandamurtim Nirmukta Bandhanam Apara Sukha Amburashim Sri Vallabham Vimalabhotakanam Namami Yasya Prasadat Akameva Vishnuhu Mayeva Sarvam Parikalpidam Cha Ittam Vijanami Sat Atma Rupam Tasyangri Patmam Pranitosmi Nityam. Om. Okay. So we are in the Vaakya Vritti. We have finished until the 27th sloka. If you recall, this text that we are learning is expanding the understanding of the phrase, what we call reverentially as a Mahavakya, called tatvamasi. You know, to understand this Vedanta Jnanam, to obtain that Jnanam, there's a krama, there's a method. Of course, we, within our own limited way, we started with Tattva Bodha many years back, which is a text of paribhasha. It is not a light text. It looks very simple. It brings out all the concepts of Vedanta into definitive words. And then to understand that we need a mental focus. Therefore, we studied Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. We did almost a year we spent on going through the Yoga Sutra so that we can do some exercises, upasanas, pranayamas, hatha yogas and all that to get the mind focused. Assuming we have done that, we started learning about great acharyas, great jnanis, siddhaprajnas, their lifestyles. We learned about we people, because sometimes there are many things you learn by just observing the lifestyle of some Mahatmas. Because that is the biggest learning. How somebody leads a life in this world, both good and bad, ideally the good ones. So that it gives you a steer what to do and what not to do. So we gone through that. Then we couldn't resist. We've come back. We read some about Bhajagovintam and few other texts to lighten our heart, but still keep the Vedantic momentum going. Then we jumped into Isa Upanishad. Isa Avasyam Idagum Sarvam. So that the main import is everything is divine. All are divinity. If everything is divine, everything includes me, therefore I must be divine. Am I really the divine? So to support that quest of learning, we pursued Kathopanishad. We spent almost a year and a half. The Kathopanishad, through the story of Nachiketas, we learned, yes, there is something beyond everything that is you, the Parabrahmam. And if you achieve that, you achieve Amartvam, Abhayam, Moksham, and all that. We can keep on going to other Upanishads and all that. But all these Upanishads, what they do, they build this garland of flowers with so many truths to reveal in so many different ways. But it is all about bringing down to the only truth, that you are none other than what you are really seeking. That is the fulfillment, the truth, the God, the Parabrahma, whatever you want to call it. So it therefore says, if you understand yourself, who you really are, of course, through the Vedantic view, of course, to do this, you must have some pure heart. Therefore, you recite, mantras, shlokas, upasanas, dharma, karma, all that you do in parallel. But all that should be to get the understanding of who you are. So, of that Mahavakyas, there are 4 Mahavakyas, and one is the tatvamasi. Tadu tvam asi. That you are. Yet that refers to that you are seeking, the fulfillment, the truth. The ultimate is the Brahmam, the Ishvara. Tvam is you. Adu ni. That you are. Asi is the conjugative verb which combines this together. This Vaakya Vritti text is a supplementary text because of the compassion of Bhagavan Shankara, like feeding the child with, with the milk and the rice and the sugar, nicely coated dal, and the mother is feeding you. He is feeding you. Understand this. So with this tatvamasi, he has got tat, tvam, and asi. To understand a sentence, you must understand the words. Of course, word meaning and sentence meaning don't need to synchronize because they may be different. Lakshat may be different. But nevertheless, you must know the word meaning. Therefore, we must understand each word. Tat, tvam, asi. We spent up to 27 verses, starting from 11th verse 27, almost 16, 15, 16 verses, to explain Tvam Patam. What is Tvam means? You. But you and I should say I. Tvam means who am I? So it is spend the time. The question is, therefore, why I started with the Tvam Padam first? Why not Tat Padam and Asi Padam? Logically, Tat should be the first to come. Why Tvam? We have done that. Then now we are going to go to Tat Padam. So in this mantra, Tvam Tvamartam Yevam Nischitya Tadartam Chintayet Punaga Vaakya Vritti Rupena Sakshat Vidimukena Cha Tvamartam Yevam Nischitya Tadartam Chintayet Punaga. Tvam Artham. The artham of the Tvam Padam. Evam Nischitya. Because we have inquired and ascertained Nischitya. I have got a complete understanding, conclusion. Nischayam. Nischayam means decisive conclusion. Siddhanta. I understood. Getting settled. Nischayartham. Nischayartham. When you settle down, everything is settled. All suspicions are gone. So the Guru is saying, having Tvam adartham nischitya eva. Because we have identified, found, inquired, reasoned out, and comfortably ascertained the meaning of Tvam in the mind, chintayet. Punaha, therefore we need to, what we need to do? Tatvya Vritti rupena sakshat vidimukena. So, Tatvya Vritti rupena. Tatvya Vritti. It is not that. In the method of negation, cha, and also sakshat vidimukena, in direct perception also, chintiket punaga. What I have to do? I have to think tatartham, the tatpadartham, tadartham means tatpadartham. I must learn, I must understand by two methods. Adatya vritti rupena, in the method of negation. Adat means not that, not that, not that. Vyavritti, expand like that, not that, not that, not that. Negation method plus sakshat vidimukena, direct perception. This is what it is. In two methods, you must learn about tatpada. This is what this mantra. See, this is mantram is not, it's not an Upadesam mantram, but it is telling you the method of getting the Upadesam. So I am very focused on this one word. Tvam artham eva nischitya. That you have to have definitive understanding of the word. You see, just for Shravanam. Shravanam is the most fundamental part of it. We have to listen to it. But you have to do mananam. Otherwise, it will be overwhelming. It just comes on to you. But it will just go away. Or it may give you a dangerous way because your misunderstanding will be there. Viparita jnanam. So I am the God, so why should I go to the temple? Yeah. And you start ridiculing people who are doing, rituals. Why rituals? They have no meaning. Everything is Maya. This is all Viparita jnanam because we have no right to criticize anybody else, even though you are pursuing a higher knowledge. But the knowledge is wasted, vanity, if it is not internalized. Any knowledge for the matter. First of all, knowledge itself is the wrong word, Knowledge is always knowledge of things, knowledge of limited things. That's why you don't say Ishvara knowledge. For lack of English words, we use knowledge, gnosis maybe. If you say knowledge, you say knowledge of what? Knowledge is always of something. But it is of knowledge. If it is something, that is something is always limited. That's why science is limited. Objective knowledge is limited. Here it is not knowledge, it is anubhuti. It is the realization that you're looking for. That's the reason I also asked you to, answer a couple of questions. 2 or 3 attempted that. So I'm not trying to tease you or check you because it makes interesting because, after this thing, you have to think, what did he say? Does it make sense? Can I explain this to my husband, my wife, my friend? You must try because when you explain that, you will learn more. You will know what is the problem in understanding. and you have to apply. What is the point of spending glorious time on a weekends into Vedantic lectures and not really that giving you benefit? When you do, if I say, you say this mantra, it doesn't give you any benefit, will you do it? No. I will do it because I don't expect Nishkami might do it. But why do you do it? Because it gives me happiness, right? So everything has to have a benefit. There's nothing wrong in asking a question. If I do it, what is in it for me? It sounds very selfish in a worldly matters, but believe me, it is. Unless you are convinced it is benefiting you, you will not have the right commitment to it. The interest may be there. An identity that I am learning Vedanta is there, but it is of no use. So I asked the question there, why the Tvam Padam was discussed first. This is a common sense, but it has become uncommon because the society worked very differently for many, many decades. What happens to us when you are a child? The mother takes it, nourishes us, and then the parents teaches us the God. I'm talking about a family where devotion is the part of it. They show God, and they ask you to say a prayer, and they tell you God is up there. He will punish you if you do a mistake or reward you. He is a teacher. He's a kind, compassionate. All this, a great refuge is given in your mind. God is there, and you pray to Him. Never they tell you, understand God. Ask, who is this God? Why is He sitting up there? No, we cannot do that. So we were never trained to understand God, but we had to worship God. So there are a lot of good things in that, no problem. But we don't understand. Then after some time, as you grow up, you say, look, if I keep on spending my time just praying all the time, who is going to feed the family? I had to work, study. The world is important. So God is important, but world is equally important. So I go there. I go and work, study this, do this PhD, MBA, make money. I also worship God. So I try to study the God, no chance. I study the world. And the world is keep on changing. If you are an atheist, you don't believe in God, you in fact is much better. Why just saying some mantras and slogas? Let God is there, let Him be there. Let me just do my job. There are people like that. So they also don't study the God. They also don't study the world because the world is difficult to study. I learned all C++ language. Now it is no use. A new language comes in. So all your language, all your skills get depleted, decayed. Then suddenly turn back. Oh, I'm old man now. What can I study? Well, I spend my time. I go to these Vedanta classes, all these classes, spend some time. I know I can't do anything. At least let me listen to it. And you go to Vedanta class, they say, hey, you spend your time trying to address God, understand God, understand the world. But I couldn't do it. But have you understand yourself? Oh, I never thought about it. What is that to understand about myself? Well, it is you who see the world. It is you who define your life. Every definition is your perception. If you do not know, if you do not know what gives you happiness, you can't define what are the happiest things for your life. What is the happiest ambience for you? So you are the influencer of your life. So what makes you to seek something To know that you must know yourself. Nobody told me that. Can I learn now? Yes. But here is a problem. To learn this, you have to unlearn many things. Why? Because whatever you learned is wrong in this perspective of understanding who you are. That's why Vedanta started spending lots of time telling you are not this body, you're not this mind, you're not who you think you are. Almost boring to think, what is this lunatic teacher just keep telling me? But the moment you start learning, yeah, I could have been detached. I don't need to lose my cool in that occasion. I didn't need to resign the job because of this ego problem. I could have done so many things differently because my perspectives were not clear to me when I was young. Now my life is few years behind. Let me spend peacefully for next life. But I wish my son, my daughter, my grandson, my grandchild learn this when they are young. Therefore, you tell them, before you go to God, before you go to the world, understand why you are in this world, who you really are. Then you will tell your next generation to do it. That's the reason I am laboring this. That's the reason I ask you to think through. Because when you write an answer, you will validate yourself. Vedanta is the only session where it is very distasteful in the early days because it asks you to appraise yourself. Who likes appraisal? The job when you do appraisal, what do you expect? You think appraisal means a promotion time or a job time. So when the manager tells you you did a good job and you're very happy, but then he says, you don't take risks in life, you don't communicate well, you hurt people, you're not a team player, and you get very angry. Who is this guy? I delivered everything. So we focused on what is asked and delivered. But there are some employers just reward you for delivery alone. But delivery is not, because you spent 10 hours in a workplace, and then you come home and sleep after 2 hours. So your quality of life, your relationship is a lot more in the workplace than at the family. For many of us, many part of our life. So therefore, life is a function of relationship. The appraisal have to appraise you and everything. But you get, I'm sidetracking, but what I'm saying is, it is not a comfortable position, right? So if you don't take those criticism positively, we attach, he's saying all this because his increment is going to be less. He's going to do a negative point. Maybe he does that. Who cares? But when you take that appraisal, that's why in management it came called a 360-degree appraisals, in 10, 20 years back. It's not wait for the end of the year that everybody appraise you from every different angle. How am I as a manager, as a colleague, as an employee, as a service provider, as a customer, supplier? So it creates who you really are in the personality domain. It is a welcome. If somebody criticizes me, it's like a chisel just sculpting me to get better. So Vedantam does the first thing. Unlearn everything. Ask questions. So, assuming that we have now grasped the purpose why Tvam Padartham should be the first one we should learn, and you now got a clarity. What is a clarity? Tvam means I. So I am this body, mind. Start with. Nothing wrong with this. Because everybody identify me, because when somebody sees me, they call me, hey, Raja, because they see my physique going somewhere. Therefore, I have got something to do with my body. But when I am dead, they won't call me Raja. Raja's body it is. What happened? That personality they saw is not there anymore. So in the world's point of view, I am a personality with an embodiment. So first embodiment was me, but it's not the embodiment is me, because embodiment will be discarded. The personality that comes out. But the personality is what? Is the animated living being. That is my subtle nature, my mind, my intellect. So that means I am that mind and the intellect. No, that cannot be, because then I am undefinable, because I am angry sometimes, sorrowful sometimes, happy sometimes. So I am not, therefore, what the world see me as the embodiment and personality, but I am that which lights this up to the world. That means I am the consciousness that is reflecting or presenting itself as a personality, as a body. So we call it as Jiva. Jiva is that which has got the reflective light of the Atma. So when I say I, what the world see, that I do the Papa Punya, that I take different births, that I is a Jiva, and the Jiva initially, look, if you just stop there, Jiva is light itself. There are many Jivas, therefore there are multiplicity. So God is also maybe a Mahajiva, maybe every different Jivas. So you have this kind of a Dvaita principle is there, which is very rational, reasonable. So I am one among the many. Therefore, there is a Taradamyam is there. There is a kind of a plus and minus was there. Therefore, Isha Vasyam Idagum Sarvam cannot be true. All cannot be the same divinity. But if Jiva is everything else, but you cannot differentiate personalities, but we do differentiate. So the identification of Jiva, which is far away from the body, mind, intellect, but Sukshma Sarira, we call it three things involved: Chitabhasam, the Andhakaranam, and the light that gives the light to this. So we come to this understanding. So Jiva is the one that goes birth after birth after birth. Jiva is that the ego-bearing personality. So I can come to that level of understanding. Then I would say the Jiva is actually, when you decompose it, it is just the Antakaranam, Buddhi, Manam, Chittam, and Ahankaram, illuminated by some consciousness. And we saw the status of deep sleep as an example, where the light is withdrawn. Then we realize, hey, Tvam Padartham is not Jiva, which is the Chitabhasam, but what illumines that Jiva, the principle behind it, the pure consciousness, the Chit. So I am the Chit. See, I am the Chit, you are the Chit. Everything is a Chit. Everything Chit Swarupam. And what is this Chit? This is awareness, consciousness. It's not knowledge. You have the knowledge to know about the Chit. But knowledge is knowledge of this thing. But Chit is pure awareness. I am aware that I have this knowledge. I am aware I don't have this knowledge. That awareness is not knowledge. You understand? It is the light. So I am that. You are essentially that. So all the world I see with that awareness, then we refine the thought. Well, that awareness of you always illumines and the sakshi of what it illumines. It illumines the mind. The mind is the closest to the consciousness. The mind, the top layer of mind is buddhi. Then you have manas, then you have chitta. Buddhi is the deciding faculty. Manas is the contemplative faculty. Chittam is the memory, the past compilation of thoughts, vritti. So the buddhi, when it closes to it's the most finest place, it illumines. The light touches on that. As soon as the light touches, like power comes in, the battery comes in, the car runs, the buddhi runs. Hey, I. It creates a name for itself. Aham. I am. The moment I say aham, there is this, itam, this person, that thing. So duality happens, dvaitam happens. The world is created for me. You understand? You have to really follow it closely. So my world spans out of my consciousness when it lets my brain, my mind into a light. But because as soon as the light happens in the buddhi, the mind, the I thought comes in, aham vritti comes in, the aham vritti comes in, the aham doesn't look at the light, it looks at the world and say, hey, this is my world, WhatsApp is ringing, alarm is ringing, boiler to be on, I have to go to office, busy with many things because it is his world. So I can be like that. Even if I understand this level, therefore this ahankaram I can manage very well. But ahankaram brings mamakaram. I brings my. That's a trick. I is fine. I has come. Then my comes in. My says, my watch, my car, my money, my children, my community, my country, my team, my principal. As if it all belongs to it. And because the my comes in, there is a yours comes in, his comes in, hers comes in. Then there is a problem comes in. The division comes in. Sambandham comes in. Kama, Krodha, Lopa, Moha, Madhamachirya comes in. Samsaram settles it. So ahankaram is needed because ahankaram is the thread you're going to hold on to it, because by slowly holding the thread, you will find where the ahankara vritti subsides, and that is where the light is going to be there. The light is you, not the ahankara. But ahankaram you need. Ahankaram, you need to hold on to it and then use a sutratma and then go. But the mamakaram you don't need. Mamakaram is I in mine. So we did some exercise, Some of you do feedback to me that you use it. It really helps. The moment you start reducing the word my in your transactional languages, especially in a business situation, casual use is fine. When you are negotiating it, when you are in an emotional situation, if you try not to use my, you can see the object of dispute becomes an independent entity where you can manage it very well. Right. So now I am Tvam Nischityam now. Okay, now how do what is this light that comes in? What does the light do? It just illumines. I now say it, because there is no gender. It is always inert, we say, right? No, here the it is not inert. It is all-knowing. Because it makes everything to be visible, everything to be known. But what does it see? It sees what it lights. It sees the mind. When I say it is the Atma. When I say Atma, it is you, the real you. The real you, the real I, the Swayam Prakashaka, Aprameyaka, Swaprakashaka. I use a Pullingam now. What do I see? I see the mind. Do I see anything else? Nothing to see. I just lights the mind. Well, I am aware of the world. I am aware that an aircraft goes in the sky right now. I see it. Well, that airplane that goes on the sky brought to my mind by my eyes, senses. There's a vritti happen in my mind, and the mind becomes that airplane, and therefore there is a vritti bubble. Because my consciousness is looking at the mind, it sees a vritti bubble of an airplane. So consciousness knows I'm aware there's an airplane. I'm conscious not looking at the airplane. It has nothing to do. Shivam, it is. It is always looking at the Shakti. Shakti is the mind. So when you recite to contemplation on the Devi Mahatmya, which we are being taught now, all these things, you have to remember this. The mind is the Shakti Rupa. That creates everything else. But the mind is always in the witness of Shivam, the Prakasham. The mind goes into the Shivam, the Atma. So the transition, therefore, is to make your identity from this Jiva Bhavam into this light Atma Bhotam. The Bhotam is that unarvu, that consciousness, that understanding. Bhotam is, Vachyartham is knowledge, but we don't use the word knowledge here anymore. It's not knowledge of something. It is the light. Right? But how can I be, so that what is the important lesson we therefore we learn? We are learned to disown the mind. You don't even say, I think, therefore. No. There's a thought in this mind. Just a thought occurred. You can say the thought occurred to me. Fine. You have to use, I don't mind. No, you can use I, my, everything. But you have to be detached from this. That's what I meant. Because you can't even have the courage or I would say, the audacity to say, I thought this idea. No. The idea comes to you. Well, when you execute it, you can own it and do it. That's the reason why when the rishis write these Veda mantras, they call it apurusheya. It is not written by man, they say. Somebody should have said this one, right? They say, I was somehow my thought comes to my mind about an old song, a film song comes to my mind because it was on the air. A channel, a BBC channel is playing an Indian music, old Indian music. It is coming along the sky. It somehow got into my head and creates a thought. Because the moment a radio wave is propagated, broadcast, it is always there. The atmosphere full of sound waves, sound does not die. It decays. Sine curve just goes down, it brittle. But if you have a fantastic transducer, encoder, decoder, quantizer, you can bring out the sound again. That's why when you take a radio, if you build a radio and then you turn around, you see lots of noises comes in. The noises is the collusion of various frequencies just clustering and dancing together, making meaningless sound. But when you put a synthesizer oscillator and then you tune it, then you start listening to it. The tuning ability is what you achieve in your mind. When you achieve it, it's called a rishi. Drishta, you can see it. You fine-tune it. So why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because the bodham, Atma bodham is ever-pervasive light of awareness. Now, if I am there, the mind becomes an instrument. I would never say that, my shirt, it went there and got its dirt by itself. No. Dirt was there, it collided with the shirt becomes dirty. The mind is there, some place I went there, some bad thought come to my mind. An anger come to my mind. A good thought come to my mind. Association. Satsangatve nishangatvam. So the I have as a jiva, now I am not an ordinary jiva, I am a sadhaka. I want to use the jiva bhavam to attain jiva mukti. What is jiva mukti? Jiva mukti means that I am liberated from the thought of jiva. I become one with the Atma. Can I do it this time? It's not you doing it. It happens to you. If the prarabdha karma is there, it happens to you. The Guru Kudasham happens to you. So you become that light. So do you disappear? No. You still go around. Sun doesn't disappear. Sun knows it is sun, but it doesn't disappear. It is there. It illumines. So you illumine. So your mind is not there anymore. Not there anymore means it is not important anymore. So the awareness that is illumine the mind illumines around you. So you become a light to others. So you become a true Sadguru. And there is a tejas in you. People come to you. Of course, we make them make them build an ashramam, then you start putting tickets and then you buy, all that goes into. See, even if you're a Jivan Mukta, if you are not Nischityam, you will fall down. Because the Ambal is always waiting. The Ishvara Aikyam, the Atma Swarupam, you can retain it. Only you become an Ambal Swarupam. Because Ambal is the one who get the attainment of universality one with the Ishvara. Because every creation is Ambal's creation. So she will just toss this Maya net. In Yoga Vasishtam, Narada goes and asks Krishna. So, give me about Maya to Vishnu. To say, show me about Maya. You are the Mayavi illusionist. Show me that. He says, no, I can tell you, but I'm quite thirsty. Can you get some water? So he sees a river there, and he goes to the river. Narada goes there. And when you're about to take the water, he looks at the water, and you see a beautiful young lady in the opposite bank with a pot trying to take water. She looks so enticing, enchanting. So Narada falls for her in love. That's it. He got married, lives life, 7 or 8 children. They're growing up, and one day there's a flood comes in. So everybody was driven away in the flood. His wife is also gone away. Last child is dripping into the thing. And then he also falls into it and say, help me, help me. Then Krishna comes and hold his hand and bring him out. He comes out of it. And then Narada says, oh, I don't know what I have been. I said, Krishna says, you asked a question before. Narada said, what question? What did they ask? So this is an example of how the Maya is. It just takes you away. It is always there. So that's why the Atma Bhotam, the Jivan Mukta, has to be in the Nididhyasana. So there are 3 steps, right? Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. Shravanam is what you and I are doing right now. But to get the Nischayam for it, you must do Mananam. You must take it very seriously. Is it right? Does it make sense? If it doesn't make sense to you, it does not help you, don't bother, because you're wasting your time, everybody's time. But you have to really look at it. It helps me. And that is Mananam. Doesn't matter. You don't need intellect for this. You need just the trial, because the idea is the moment you start questioning it, you don't need a teacher to get the answer. The answer comes to you. It changes. So with that introduction, let me just get back to this slogan. So here he says, I will give you now 2 methods to learn Tat Padartha. See, Tvam Padartha means you and I. That's the most difficult part, to be honest with you, because we have learned this now, and then we have the method of contemplating it. And some of you at least will have the contemplative exercise continuing. Guaranteed. The Tat Padam about Ishvara, it is pretty easy. Because, it is about something right now outside of you. So there is no opinion, there is no bias, there is no dogma. So we have done the complex part before. Now we're going to go to the easy part. But in the easy part, he says, I will give you 2 methods. One is called Nisheta Mukhena. Nisheta means rejecting it. What do you mean rejecting it? It looks negative, right? No, negation is seeing the false as a false. So therefore it is a positive way. I'll give you an example. So if you want to look at the root of a plant, what do? You just dig it up, throw away everything. Not this, not this, not this, not this, not this. Finally, what do you get? You get the root of it. What did you do? You were throwing away everything that is not the root. Nishedam. Mukhena means dware, that path. So it's a very important method in Vedanta to teach that. I'll give you another example. Space. Can you show me space? Oh, there's everywhere space. No, I can't see it. You can't see it? Well, look at that window. Yeah. The window exists because it's space. What do you mean? You see this side of the pillar, left side, yeah. Right side, yeah. In between, there's nothing there. That is space. Give you another example. You read the screen and you see the letters there. Where is the space? You can't show the space. But you will see the importance of space when I remove all the space from this, all the letters get one, and there is no meaning that there's nothing legible, nothing readable. Everything is gone. Space exists only because of that the window exists. Only because of that the text exists. But space is not there. But it is there. So to show the space, I must remove what is not space. I remove all these letters. I remove everything. I take eraser, take everything. Now you see the space. So it is important. But the problem with this method is if you say negative, not this, I am not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the thought, I'm not this, I'm not that. Anything I see, it's not that. If you keep on doing like that, you think, well, finally I am nothing. Everything I say, no, therefore I am nothing. So you will become a shunyavadi. This is what happened with the followers of Buddha. Buddha did not make the Buddha Mata. Buddha did not say anything that is not in the Upanishad. He only said what is in the Upanishad. He condoned the karma kanta, the people who are blindly following rituals, not even helping the right thing to do in the world. Like Bhagavan Shankara, when Shankara's mother died in a place, Bhagavan comes to the mother's aid, and as he promised, he wanted to do the final rituals for the mother. But in the Dharma Shastra, there is a dictum where if you taken sannyasa, renunciation, there's no mother, father for you. You cannot have the authority to come and do the last rites. There is something like that. Let's not go into detail, right or wrong. But Shankaracharya said that is not something which is dogma. It has to change. I have committed to my mother, and there's nobody to do the rituals. I must do it. See, this requires not isolated thinking. It requires a very reasonable thinking, logical thinking. This changes when it happens with reason within Dharma, makes Sanatana Dharma Sanatana. Sanatana means ever fresh. What can be ever fresh? I used to study, in the 70s, modern algebra. Modern algebra, is it modern still? No, it is same algebra. It's not modern anymore. So the ever freshness means ever reflecting the truth. Truth is always fresh. Truth does not change, it's always fresh. So if there is something is not eternally helping in pursuit of truth, discard it. Move on. That's why every smriti changes. So Bhagavan Krishna teaches the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. Take Vedas, You can't enforce the Vedas, take the Veda Jnanis. Third, don't have dogmatic things. So Buddha did not say there's no Atma, but Buddhist followers. But who are these followers of Buddha? Those who left Mimamsika, because he condemned karmas. He condemned karma because people are impoverished, people are helpless. This community of great scholars who call themselves scholars were doing yajnam after yajnam after yajnam because they want to achieve Swargaloka, Indrapadavi, next Janma, leaving behind the masses, not taking care of them. That is not the purpose of karmas. So he condemned them. So the educated elite moved from the, oh, it's better give away the karma, I go follow. So they are all Purva Mimamsikas mainly went to them. And because they were doing karma kantam, Purva Mimamsikam, they rejected the Uttara Mimamsam, Vedantas. They rejected it. Upanishads, they rejected it. Mahavakyam, they rejected it. They said all these are upachara varta. Only way is you do karma. God even not needed. Because very clearly say, do punya, you get a good benefit. Papa, bad things. Do punya. So very logical. It's like, in a Birbal story, find the greatest fool, the king has ordered him. He goes around looking for the fool. And there's a man under the lamppost searching for something. So Birbal looks at him and says, can I help you? Yeah, I lost my ring. So he's also searching for a few times. Half an hour passed. He couldn't find it. Tell me, my friend, I want to help you. Where exactly did you lose your ring? Then he says, look over there, that bush, I lost it there. And he says, if you lost it there, why are you searching under the light here? You fool. Then he replied back to Birbal, you fool. You have to search under the light. Now you see, both statements are right. You have to search under the light, but you search where you lost it. But they are not mutually exclusive. You have to search under the light in the place where you lost it. So this is kind of this is Vaakya Vritti. You have to use these sentences, the context and everything. So they rejected the Upanishad mantras and everything. So they become the followers of Buddha. They took Buddha's silence, eloquence into their own convenience, and they rejected complete Vedas. They rejected Upanishad is the one that gives you Atma Tattvam. They rejected Atma. Therefore, they said, there is a lot of good things. Do good jobs, good things, control the desire, and all that they said. But at the end, shunyam. Nothing is there. Like an onion. You peel the onion, nothing is there. So for them, this nishedam, okay, in a negative approach is good, because if you keep negating everything, it'll be empty, shunyam. So the whole life is shunyam. Your purpose of life is zero. But then you ask the question, if that's the case, why am I to be a good person? Why am I to be nice and kind? Why can't I just loot, enjoy? After all, the life ends. No. They say, no, you reborn. But there's life, end of it, nothing. So what is that then I can do? How do I escape? Well, don't desire anything. So if I don't desire anything, what happens? You become shunyam. Why should I become nothing? In the whole conversation, they miss the tat padartha. Because if they come to the conclusion that at the end there is nothing, how are they aware of this nothingness? What tells you that there is nothing? Abhavam means not existing. There is nothing. There is a positive way. Nothing is abhavam. To say there is nothing, you must be cognizant of nothing. Is it not? Otherwise, you have no right to say at the end it is shunyam. Can you say it? It's unreasonable. In Vedanta, everything is reasonable. That's why Bhagavan Shankara and also his Paramagurus, everybody, they eloquently showed. Shankaras had to take a lot of trouble because, it's very difficult. It's very easy to teach an innocent, ignorant person than a scholar. Because scholar, he will debate. So he has to debate a lot of people and say, look, simple truth. No, always it's common sense. You don't need such a long debate to understand it. At the end, there is nothing. To make that statement reasonably, you must be aware there is nothing. Otherwise, you cannot make the statement. So if I am aware of nothingness, that awareness exists. That awareness is therefore Purnam. Purnamata, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate. Cannot be Shunyam. The Shunyam is Purna. You may use the word Shunyam, but it is Purnam. So, if you take a Mahaparivar's simple example, it's like a 1 and 0. Purnam is 1. Shunyam is 0. The 1 divides 0, the infinite forms. When the Parabrahmam is manifested into so many forms, because of this 0, the Maya Shakti, infinite forms comes in. 0 doesn't exist by itself. The Bhavam doesn't exist. 0 has no value by itself. Same way, the Jiva, the Manas, does not exist by itself. It creates the whole world. Like Shakti creates the whole world, your mind creates your own world. But that is because that Pujyam, that Shunyam, is illumined by this Bodham Atma. Therefore, it is not enough to do a Nisheta Mukhena Tatparya Vyakhyana. I can't just keep teaching you negate, finally you will find it. I cannot, because you may have the risk of going down the route of this ignorant Buddhist disciples and end up in Shunyam. The whole thing is wasted. Therefore, you need to have a complementary knowledge there that says Sakshat Vidimukena. So therefore, it's going to have two methods of teaching Tatpadam. One is not this, not this, not this. Other one is this. You may have the question, how can you say this? Because Atma is aprameyam. It is beyond the senses, beyond the words. Yes, but I'm giving the marker. This marker is needed so that you don't fall into the shunya trap. That marker will be exactly like what we heard for the Tvam. Tvam is Chat, Chit, and Anandam. Same way, Tatpadam will be Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So you can see where we are going. The Vachyartham we will find and resolve and throw it away. Lakshyartham we will take it. The Lakshyartham in fact, the whole Vaakya Vritti can end here. For the Tvam Padam, it is Sat, Chit, and Anandam. Sat means existence, Chit means awareness, Ananda means blissful. That is my Lakshyartham for who I am. Tat Padam, for Ishvara, is going to say Satyam, eternally existing, Jnanam, all-knowing, omniscient, Anantam, infinite, Paripurna. Then you can equate Sat as a Satyam, Chit as the Jnanam, Anandam as Anandam. Therefore, both are exactly same. Therefore, Tadu Tvam Asi. So that's where it's going to take. So let us stop it here. So today we did not go into the new Upadesam, but we learned the method, 2 methods. Okay. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya
Mrityoma Amridam Gamaya
Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Hari Om Tat Sat
Hari Om Tatsate
Brahmarpanamastu.
Namastu.
Thank you.
Raja.
Thank you so